Hey, Jared.
Hey, Josh.
Why don't gold bars ever get lost?
Why don't gold bars ever get lost? I don't know.
Because they always stay in mint condition.
That's a little bit of a thinker. Okay. All right.
Yeah. As long as it's not the stinker.
Exactly.
The thinker and the stinker.
Yeah. That was good. That was pretty narrowed in on the movie.
I try.
Instead of more broad, yeah.
I try.
Getting better with the dad jokes. Honing in on the dad jokes.
There's an art form, right? I guess.
It is.
I'm not writing them. I just find them.
It's still an art form to find them even.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to think what thing I can associate with the movie to then try to find a joke based on this, and then like Google it and find something.
But you also have it innate within you because you're a dad.
I guess
that makes it so much better.
I just know how to deliver the lines.
Yeah.
Because until you're a dad, you can't. It just doesn't work.
Yep. Right? You get that ability as soon as you have your first kid.
Hey, welcome back to Screen Time. I'm your host, Josh. You don't get it, Jared. You just don't get it. I have over 60 apps on that phone. Do you know how much time and man hours it would take to re-download those apps?
That was mine.
That was yours?
Yeah, that was mine. It's all right. We haven't had a crossover one in a while.
We haven't. Well, I take here. So that's my co-host, Jared.
I'm a 44 Slim and bring me some options. Yeah, that was good too. Yeah.
That would make me laugh. That would make me laugh when he said that.
Yeah.
So today we are covering the final of the trilogy, Hangover Part III. 2013, rated R, hour and 40 minutes. Still always kind of hitting that.
I think all three are like an hour 40, right?
Yeah, really within a minute or so of each other. But also I feel like that was the same for like most of the Coen brothers movies too. There were a lot of movies in like that to try to keep it. I feel like that was...
It was like hour 40, hour 50.
Some point here, I don't know when it was, but in the 2010s, where all that started creeping up over 2 hours, and like I feel like so many movies are over 2 hours now. But
that's like the norm now is like 2 hour 10. I would say on average, no matter what genre of movie it is, which is interesting.
Well, let's see. Here's our premise. When one of their own is kidnapped by an angry gangster, the wolf pack must track down Mr. Chow, who has escaped from prison and is on the run.
Did you say the budget?
Not yet. We haven't got that far.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was just curious.
So obviously Todd Phillips directing, Craig Mason, Todd Phillips, and then John Lucas, who was one of the writers in the first film but didn't help write the second film, is back on this one.
But Craig Mason, that's interesting.
Craig Mason, when he was on the second film as well.
Oh yeah, we did talk about him last week. Okay.
Again, cinematographer and music.
Yep.
Same guys. Lawrence Sher is the cinematographer, and Christoph Beck for music, composer. Production cost. What do you think? Think it went up or down?
Oh, compared to part 2.
Yeah.
It's tough because they're staying more locally, not overseas, but all the actors are bigger and probably contractually needed more money. So I'm not sure. I would say it's probably still more.
Yes, it went up.
Okay.
$103 million was the budget on this one.
Okay.
And part 2 was $80 million.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel it. That's what's weird.
No.
I like, so yeah, maybe it was the actors, but
The main three probably, yeah.
but I feel like they would have had the same contract. My guess, because what was it? One of the trivia we read after part 2, where they were talking about they basically greenlit part 1 and part 2 and part 3 at the same time, and so then if they would have done it, they would have those contracts right would have been like, it would have been like, here's what you get, like, and it would have been the same for both. So,
but is that something they can renegotiate?
I mean, maybe, but like, it would really.
I guess it depends on the contract too. Yeah.
But I mean, but maybe, I don't know. So once again, Bradley Cooper, Ed Helms, Zach Galifianakis, Justin Bartha, Kim Jong-young. Then we had John Goodman.
Yeah.
And Melissa McCarthy.
All right.
We have Jeffrey Tambor back because he wasn't in the second one, right? Because we just didn't see it. And then, of course, Heather Graham's back.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike Epps is back as Black Doug.
Yeah.
And then Todd Phillips is back.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't in the second one, I don't think, right? Did he? Where was he? I don't remember seeing him.
I didn't see him in because I always look in the full cast 1st before watching the movie. No. Yeah, I don't think he's in the second.
I remember seeing him second and didn't.
Unless it's uncredited and we didn't see it.
Didn't catch it, but yeah. Cool. Yeah, overall, what were your thoughts on this film?
Wait, hold on. Did I miss Todd Phillips?
Did you? I didn't. I mean, I have a note of when he showed up.
All right, well, we'll wait then.
Yeah,
we can
if you don't remember, then yeah.
I don't know if I do. You know what the problem is though? I shouldn't have done this, but I started this movie like a while back. Not a while, but like I started it and stopped it and then didn't finish it for like a week later. Oh. And that was the problem. So, I mean, I write all my notes as I go anyway, but like maybe I forgot. Maybe it was near the beginning. I don't know. Anyway, overall thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
It was all right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I definitely have not seen this. Going into it, I'm like, I don't remember any of this.
Yeah, same. I mean, I was pretty sure I knew I hadn't seen it, but
which is weird because
nothing about it that familiar.
Yeah, which is weird because I don't know why. So both of us, like, we watched these movies,
like
and
the second one was just like meh,
and so we never really thought about it when the third one came out.
Didn't go out of your way to make sure you saw the third one, and then you just never saw it.
Yeah,
that would be my guess. I don't know.
But no, it's okay. I would say similar to what I said about the second one, part 2, is, although not as much now I'm thinking about it, there's not as many of like the same setups where they're trying to recreate some of those joke magic from part 1. And this one felt a little more in line with the first one, which makes sense because they even revisit some places. But still I feel similar in that way where this one felt a little more original with the jokes though. I will say. It still wasn't like, I laughed some, but it wasn't like, wasn't obviously the bar of part 1, but I was a little surprised though. I was expecting it to be really bad, and it wasn't.
No.
So it was higher than I thought actually going into it. So yeah, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the stuff that you said, again, the same stuff I kind of said it about part 2. Though I think, so like you were saying, like this one was like more of an original idea, right? Like and I think it had some of the similarities to the second one where it felt like the actors weren't quite, again, giving the performance they did in the first one. Especially like, just, and then I think it was just a little too much Mr. Chow.
I agree.
I think that much of him, like then it loses some of the humor because you're just like too much of him.
That's how I felt about part 2 also. Like because there's at times where he's funny, but then I thought overall it didn't really work for me, and this one's just way more like you're saying. So yeah, didn't really like that about this movie, and he's a very central plot point.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into the things we liked or noted.
Yeah, I don't have too much.
Okay. Well, you want me to go first then? If you don't have too much.
You have
I don't have a lot, but I have like things.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Well, okay, so the opening sequence with Chow breaking out of prison.
Yeah.
I like that. I thought that was done well.
Yeah, it was.
Which I mean, I know we have a separate section, but even that, like some of the cinematography was really cool in there, and really start to see a jump in quality in that from even the previous film. I think we saw it a lot in the previous in part 2, and like the car chase, and there's some stuff that was really cool, but in this case it was like just some interesting composition and movement of camera and stuff that is showing what's his name keep pushing himself a little bit more and each time.
Lawrence
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I thought that was good.
Kind of like what we talked about with, like, there was certain elements with part 1 and with part 2 there was a little bit more where like they film it like an action movie. And that's what it kind of felt like this beginning too.
Yeah. Yes. There's some stuff, but like beyond that, just like, yeah, we'll talk about it later. But then the opening scene with the giraffe, like, it's coming
for sure.
And it's still, it made me laugh as much as it's like horrifying.
I know.
At the same time.
Yeah.
But like, come on, like who wrote that? Like who sits and be like, what should happen?
Well, that's why I was like, I like that scene, but at the same time I was like, this is too obvious.
But also,
which made it less funny to me. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, because it's coming the whole time.
Right. But also knowing that they needed him to do something that would like trigger enough of a problem that then his dad has a heart attack, which again, on paper, I think that plot part, like, that makes sense. Like, I think that's a clever thing for that happen here with these characters to make the situation where they all have to go and take him to rehab or some kind of facility to help him, because
I guess it has to be that ridiculous so you could see where he's at mentally. So then the plot could
so, and then it's just like, what do you write all these ideas, and that's the one they went with, which it's kind of ludicrous, funny, and disgusting all at the same time.
Yep.
Horrifying, whatever. To just make a note that the green screen on that and Chow jumping off the cliff looked pretty rough.
Yes, it did. I was going to say the giraffe in general didn't look that great. Even for
2013 or whatever it is.
Yeah. So 11 years ago, like, there's a movie I'm going to talk about when we do our TV pod that came out in 2006 and just like looks incredible CG.
Okay.
But they also actually, I looked it up, this particular movie, they won that year for visual effects, which I didn't realize. So. But there's other parts where I'm sure there is a lot of CG and I didn't even realize. So I'm sure there's definitely parts of this movie that do it really well, right? Like what do we call it? The invisible
Yeah, well, or at least when they're removing things or taking things out that,
or like extending.
yeah, that you just don't know because it's like seamless and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
I have, just to start, as soon as the first scene with John Goodman, I was very excited. I loved seeing him in this movie because I had no idea, and
Right.
his character too, I thought was great.
So yeah, John Goodman was definitely surprising me too. I mean, I have some stuff before that if we're going in chronological order. Not that we have to, but so my next note was about the funeral. Alan singing at the funeral.
Oh yeah,
And then his speech.
Mm.
The line about like there's people I could think of that I wish would have died sooner or before him, like my mother.
Absolutely brutal. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that was good. And actually, when he sings, that part, like, it's like obviously
someone
like,
else, right?
Right, but actually, it's very spot on.
Very convincing.
Yeah,
very
like
convincing.
what he's doing with his mouth, and you can see like how he's constricting. Like, I was like, wow,
he probably performed it.
He did something.
He performed it probably to his best of the ability.
Yeah, and then
and gave it his all so that it would look authentic. And then
that's what I liked because
dubbed it over.
I mean, there's so many movies and shows that do that kind of thing, and it looks bad.
Yeah, it doesn't
like when they're mouthing it, and you're like, this is not even close.
For sure. And then my next note was the intervention.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was so well done, like from a tension standpoint, because you just don't know what Alan's character is even going to do because he's capable of like so many things that as a viewer, when you're watching it, you're just like, I don't even know how this is going to go down.
Well, you don't know how he's going to be in any scenario.
Yeah,
so
but like in that moment, it was just, again, I thought it was really well done, the tension. And then like
it was
the random dude, like who was the random dude that was like, oh, that's his, and then the kid that he like goes swimming with or something.
Oh, it was like the next door neighbor or something. Yeah.
But there was the other dude that was like randomly there. That was like his friend, like for something. I don't remember now.
I don't remember what the guy was, but yeah, I remember the kid was like,
the kid and there was a guy, and they were both like just random. But
yeah,
the part was good. It was done well. And of course, for some reason, I always think anytime there's intervention, I always think of How I Met Your Mother.
Yes.
And when they had so many interventions, they had an intervention for the interventions. So ridiculous.
I haven't seen How I Met Your Mother in a long time. It'd be a good one to revisit.
Yeah, it holds up well enough. Yeah, and then we get to like the part where John Goodman shows up on my notes, and of course I just put, of course they kidnapped Doug, so that once again they can get rid of the boring guy.
Yep.
I mean, also he was the one kind of missing the first time, so it kind of like makes it repeat without. But at the same time, at least how they portray him in these movies, he's so boring and not funny and he doesn't add anything to the dynamic of the other three.
And they have to like always figure out a way to get rid of him, so it's the three for the Wolf Pack, even though like technically he's part of it. But all three of these movies, which is funny, because when that happened, I was like, oh yeah, I had the same reaction you did to that. I really liked, because this would be the same scene or right after. I really liked how they tied this movie back to the first movie and showing how Alan got like the roofies. And how that all played out. Like, I like that they did that because, so I like it as kind of an extension of part one, because part two isn't really connected as much.
Right.
So I liked how they kind of went back to that a little bit more, or at least added to it. I
Yeah.
thought that was good.
Yeah. Yeah. The way he's like, well, you introduced this cancer, Mr. Chow, into our. Yeah. My next note is about cocaine chickens.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Chow's
Yes.
cockfighters.
It's just like, because some of the stuff with him I like, but I don't know. I think part one was like the perfect amount of him, because he's so intense and just like over the top, that like part two was, I think, too much. And then this is like even more.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, did they get like a bunch of audience reaction where they're like, oh, we need more of this? And they just kept, I'm wondering like when these came out.
Yeah.
And he was like a fan favorite, and they're like, oh, we got to just keep getting more with Mr. Chow. But yeah, it's nothing with the actor, because we've already talked about him. He's a great actor,
Yeah.
you know, Community, and he's been in a lot of stuff. But yeah, it's just a specific character with this. It's just
no
over the top.
But yeah, cocaine chickens.
Cocaine chickens, yeah.
And then we have the heist, which was fun. And I mean, the whole thing was funny and well done. I thought, like,
It was.
Yeah. And then, because the whole time you're like, okay, something's good, something's not. This is too easy.
Yeah.
And then I do think it was. I didn't assume it was the guy's house, and they stole the other set of gold money and gold bars.
That's something I
like
did.
How Mr. Chow would know where those are, and they're behind a brick wall in the basement, like all that stuff. Like he had, like that's the only thing. It's like a little far fetched, right? Like how would
That's
he,
true, yeah.
But
I going into that scene, I knew it was definitely not Mr. Chow's house, but yeah, I didn't necessarily think it was John Goodman's character's house. But
what's his name?
I know, I forget.
Marshall,
right?
No last name.
No, yep, no last name.
Yeah. So that was good. Then my next note I have is about Alan finding his woman.
Yeah. Is this before or after we see Heather Graham? Because that was my next note. Just like with John Goodman, it was nice
before.
to see her again.
This is before.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Was this kind of like the beginning of Melissa McCarthy's popularity?
I don't know. I wouldn't think so.
No? Because I feel like in the past 10 years is when she
Maybe.
was like the biggest, I want to say.
I don't know.
But yeah, it was a good scene though.
Mm-hmm. But just him being like the way she talks to her mom, and then the way she just, and they're just like so on point.
And I love that their connection was Billy Joel, which made me laugh. That was great.
Yeah, no, it was good. No, then the next is Heather Graham.
Okay.
Because like I think she's the one at the gold places gives them the like note about the either strip joint or the call girls or something like.
Yeah, that's right. Because that's why they
and then they're like,
her.
oh, we know somebody, and then they go to see her. So I mean, always great to see Heather Graham.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, scene with Alan and the kid.
Yeah. Yep. It's their connection together because he carried him around so long. Yeah. It's funny seeing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good.
The baby growing up a little bit.
And him sit there and be like, did you know your name was, Carlos or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, dude, you're like, you called him that for like 2 hours. And
Yeah.
And then when the little kid's like, are you my real dad? He says, yes.
Mm-hmm. Of course, you know he was going to say that.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah. That's such an Alan thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping this isn't trivia. I'm wondering, is that the same?
The actual same kid.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm
curious about that.
Like they just got the same. Probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
Unless you got, I just have a
My
note.
last two are just about the ending. That's it.
Yeah, I have a note about Alan trying to get a pic, but I don't remember. Like I'm trying to remember the scene now.
Alan doing what?
Trying to get a picture.
Trying to get a picture.
Yeah.
I don't know. What scene is it?
I don't know. It came after that, I guess. But so then they have to sneak into the suite, and
Yeah, they're back at Caesar's Palace.
Caesar's Palace. And they have to get into the suite, and of course they shimmy down. But then Mr. Chow takes off on the and does. I mean, he was singing. I believe I can fly.
Yeah, that's like something like that. I'm like, okay, this is. I understand what they were trying to do with that joke, but like that was like an example of just like
too much.
It is. Yeah, this is like a very Mr. Chow joke, and I didn't think that one was funny.
But he flies by a window, and there's a guy, and it's the creepy guy that's played by Todd Phillips in the window.
Okay, this must have been like your Darth Plagueis. I must have was like taking a note or something because I do not remember that.
Yeah, like you're like in a room of.
Was it that quick?
A hotel room, and you see Todd Phillips sitting on and he might even be doing like something on the like coffee table or something, and then there's a window behind him, and he paraglides past him or whatever he's doing.
Totally missed.
That's it. Like it's like
okay.
That. And
all right, I'm glad I didn't.
The same guy, like the mustache, the same guy. Or I think he had a mustache, but it's the same. You see, it's the same guy he played in the first movie. Like it's like the same guy.
Yeah. And pretty much the same in like Old School and like
he looks the same.
Or like
he's
Road Trip.
Just playing some creepy guy.
Yeah.
And then normally he's credited as that too. It's just a creepy guy.
Wow. All right. Yeah, I did not see this.
All right. Yeah. So then the showdown then of the cars. You know, I was like, oh my gosh, they killed. Like, I was like, do they really kill Mr. Chow? And then, of course, he's not dead, but then he does kill John Goodman's character, Marshall. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I thought that was clever how he was in the backseat. Little surprising how quickly John Goodman kills. Is it Black Dog?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at the pool. Like, yeah, he's just like
very quickly.
He's like, you're my top security.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, and also, how did Mr. Chow know all the details of where it was at? You know, like that's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, maybe that's who leaked all the information to be like, here's the house, here's the layout, here's where the gold's stashed.
Yeah. Well, it was Mr. Chow and Alan emailing back and forth. A bunch.
Yeah. I don't know who it's from.
Yeah. I like that. That was good. I didn't make a note about that, but yeah, that was funny.
Well, in the first one, he's like, this might be it. And then he's like, yeah, I didn't know who it's from. And it's like, just says Chow. And he's like,
yeah,
he's like,
they're saying bye. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So then there's the credits.
I have. Is this before the credits? My last units, well, they can kind of go together, but I like how we started this trilogy with a wedding and then ended it with a wedding too.
Yeah.
With Alan's wedding.
Yeah.
And then I think this is right before the credits. Then right after that is the shot of all of them walking,
Yes.
and then it like cuts to them walking from like the other movies too. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Was that before the credits?
It was before the credits, yeah, but that might have been a little earlier, but yeah.
Oh, was that before even the wedding?
I think so.
Okay, I thought it ended on that.
Or maybe it
right
was when they
before
were
the-
getting ready to go up. There, it was like time.
Yeah, they
to
were
go
all
in.
walking. Yeah, I think. Anyway, but yeah. So I like that too. How
Mhm.
and then it
That's
kept
right, that was
cutting
cool. Yeah.
to shots of them walking from part 1 and part 2 as well. I thought that was cool. Or well, it was not just them walking. Actually, it was like different kind of experiences they had together through all 3 movies.
But
Not just them walking.
yeah,
but yeah, them
they're-
together doing different things. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's my last note. Which I thought was a pretty good way to end
Yeah.
in the trilogy. Thought it ended pretty strong.
And then you had the credits. We finally get our blackout.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because I mean, there is no hangover in this film.
That's true. So they had to.
So then they did the
put that in.
hangover at the credits.
Mhm.
So it was basically post wedding reception.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that was a good one.
It
It's
was
pretty funny.
very, very crazy. What happens in that?
Yeah. So that was good.
But yeah, I do want to reiterate overall, it is. I feel like it's better than what I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because I saw when I was looking up the full cast and crew, and I see, you always see the top IMDb, like the rating, and it was significantly lower than part 1 and part 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which was weird. It was down to like a 5 something, I think.
Oh,
And I was like, I'm like, man, I don't think so.
yeah, yeah. I feel like
I mean, there's parts of this that I think are better than part 2.
yeah. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they both have their moments.
Yeah.
And all in all, neither one of them are in the same range as the first one, but
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, I'd have to watch them both a couple times to really be like, yes, this is definitely better than the other one. But it's I just feel like it was a little more original, and the second one was so just trying to mimic the beats of the first movie. But yeah,
I agree. Yep.
all right, just gonna briefly talk a little bit more about the cinematography. So like I mentioned, the prison break stuff, like it's very moody. Some cool overhead shots in the hall.
Everyone knows that you love your moody shots.
Moody lighting.
Yeah.
So like I mentioned that earlier, and then there's some cool slow-mo in there.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Was there some like the camera kind of running with him?
yes.
I want to say,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So then later when the kidnapping's happening, there's a scene where they're trying to capture Alan. They have the POV camera again, like attached to him, which is it's always cool, and you find good use for that, and it worked. But there's also there was the wide shot, and where he's like running, and it's like almost a little, not to say quite silhouette, it's not quite, but like it's just across it, and it, again, kind of reminds you more like you'd see almost something you'd see out of Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul.
That's what I thought of, yeah.
But again, looking for a nice, interesting cinematic composing shots, and not like what they would normally shoot for a comedy, or even an action for that matter.
Yeah, true.
Or even a little bit, Sicario, like a little bit, just kind of had those vibes.
Yeah, it did.
And so I thought there's just like there's those hints of it, not all the way. Of course, the type of film it is, and you need a lot of dialogue, and so you can't have everything look that way. But just there was moments like that. Another one, there was some interesting camera angles and shots to when Alan like was on the Caesar sign, like and that stuff, and that was done really well. Also, a lot of some of the shots were cool while he was paragliding, Mr. Chow, flying through the city like that. I mean, that was some cool stuff. Like, I mean, obviously it wasn't really him. They probably had a stunt double in there, but the
how. So this is 11 years ago, let's say, maybe 12, depending on when they filmed it. How implemented were drones and drone shots even at that time?
They would have been a little bit more common.
Okay.
Yeah, because
before that, you basically had to film out of a helicopter, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, I mean, so it's interesting to see the progression and I'd be curious. I honestly I haven't done this, but I should look and see what the cinematographers kind of did anything else in between that he, was all experimenting, flexing his creativity in other ways that he was bringing back here, or was he just, working on this and just kind of while doing a comedy, basically being able to like find ways to insert more interesting shots.
Yeah, I wonder if he keeps him for what's this last one before Joker, War Dogs, and then going into Joker 2. I don't know, but or both Joker movies. Yeah, I'm wondering if it'll be him, because I guess, I mean, those movies especially very moody, so he can do that. I wonder if actually, I wonder. No, probably not for the music. I'm wondering if they're going to keep the composer too, because I think the music's incredible in Joker, and I don't know if I looked up who did it, so I wonder for that too. Anyway, I haven't revisited that movie since it came out. It'll be interesting just to see all of it, like cinematography, score, all of it, see who was involved with that. I imagine at least that, and then going to Joker 2, imagine you probably carried everyone over, right?
Probably.
That would make sense.
Those that you can. I mean, sometimes stuff's not technically feasible, but or logistically feasible.
Right. I have, for cinematography, the only thing I liked, but at the same time also was too much and got annoying, was when they're in Caesar's Palace and all like the strobe lighting.
Oh yeah, when they're in Chow's party.
Yeah, because I thought it looked really cool at times, but then it was like too much because it went for a while. Because even like I think they're walking down the hallway and then Chow finally shows up, like that, and playing with the lighting with that I thought was cool.
Yeah,
but yeah, it kind of went on a little longer, a little too long. But
right. What about the music? I definitely put a note about. It seemed like just there was a little more there, and especially in that opening scene again.
Yeah,
like the kind of tense, like.
Yes, I did actually, because the first two I didn't really have anything, but this one I did because it's the same guy, but this, and maybe it's just because of when it came out too, but this score, there is more of it, like you mentioned, but I think this one felt like a modern score, is what I thought about most specifically. It felt like a modern score even for like an action movie a lot of times. Not always, because it doesn't need to be. But there was different elements of it that I had noticed that felt more like a movie that would come out right now, which I really liked. So, which again, a lot of times when just mentioning what a modern score sounds like, it's a lot of genre blending. That's a big thing now. With different instruments from different genres, mainly, is like kind of the thing, and they did a lot more in that. in this one, which I liked.
Cool. Yeah. No, it definitely was. It just seemed more contemporary, and
Mm-hmm.
which also means it was there. It was like
Yes.
you felt it there. All right. Well, any themes or messages?
No, I don't have anything.
It's don't.
We haven't been doing that this whole time, but it's been all like comedies. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
we
just-
don't really.
It's a little less.
Yeah, not normally a thing for. Not always, but
Mhm.
a lot of the time, it's not really like a really deep or like
Yeah.
subliminal message
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, or just like I mean,
I think it also has to do with the director. Some directors like doing that, or like leave a lot of interpretation.
yes.
I think it's more of a director thing. And then if they like doing that, then they do that, no matter what genre, and with pretty much all their films.
All right, let's do some trivia. The actors agreed to do the third film as long as there wasn't a fourth movie.
Smart.
It says even Cooper took convincing to do the project from Galifianakis. So I guess to answer your question earlier, they weren't planned back to back. So, they did the second one, and then they must decide to do the third one. And
So that,
so then
Probably
it could
played
have
into the
been
money.
like, oh, if I'm going to do it, you're going to have to pay me.
yes.
There you go. Grant Holmquist, who performed the role of baby Tyler/Carlos in The Hangover 2009, returns to portray toddler Carlos in the film.
Nice.
So there you go. It was the same kid. Each of the three leads were all reportedly paid $15 million plus a back-end deal to return for this movie.
Okay.
So right there.
Right there, that's
it's
45.
45 million.
Yeah. Not counting residuals and all that afterwards. But yeah, just the upfront budget.
Wow. In 2012, Zach Galifianakis lost so much weight that he had to wear a prosthetic belly for this film.
Oh, really?
Didn't see it in the face, but
No. Well, they did a good job with it because I did not notice at all.
Chow appears in all three films, even though he was only originally cast in the first film. Zach encouraged the filmmakers to have Chow written into the sequels. I feel like, he's pretty strong. So they had to early on decide to try to write him in because
Yeah.
or do a pretty heavy rewrite. Near the end of the movie, where the Wolfpack is returning to the minivan, there's a billboard with Eddie, the man who ran the wedding chapel in The Hangover, in the background. So gets him back. Todd Phillips playing as Mr. Creepy again in the motel room in a bathrobe, paying off a prostitute as Mr. Chow is parachuting across the Las Vegas hotel window. Okay, that's what he was doing. He was paying off a prostitute.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember what he was doing. So this had only this to the opening. This was the second highest worldwide opening after The Hangover Part II. So the Part 3 didn't do as well.
That makes sense.
Sean Penn and or Robert Downey Jr. were considered for the role of Marshall.
Huh. That would be interesting. But I mean,
Yeah.
John Goodman's got that presence. And, well, it's also his yell. When you get yells, because we talk about it, especially in Big Lebowski, like,
Yeah.
comedically, it's hilarious. But like this, he can use that same yell, but then be in like a villain type way.
So there's an exotic animal that shows up due to Alan, because he's the one that stole the tiger.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had the monkey, and then he had the giraffe in the third film.
Oh, gotcha.
In every film of the trilogy, including this one, there are pigs somewhere. In The Hangover, Part 1, as Phil and Alan and Stu woke up in the trashed hotel suite, there was an inflatable pig in the bubble bath. Hangover Part 2, during the car chase through Bangkok, Mr. Chow crashed into a pig hanging on the meat stand, and Stu gets covered in guts. In this movie, Marshall's thugs wore pig masks.
Okay. This seems like some trivia that they're really trying to pad out here.
Yeah.
Like something like that. It's like, was that really their intent to really have that across all three films?
I don't know. Just things people notice, I guess.
Yeah, I figured it. Yeah, it's more of that.
Yeah. Each movie features a Kanye West song.
Yeah. Or two.
Yeah, but at least one in each of the three films.
Yeah, at least one. Yeah.
Yeah. That's about it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's little slim pickings. Not as much in that one. Yeah, so any final thoughts about this film?
No. I kind of already, or even about the trilogy, I kind of already said how.
Yeah, we kind of talked about it.
Yeah, how it feels going through all three.
Yeah,
I do think at least from when I saw the IMDb score is wrong. Because this was lower than 2. Which I don't think that's accurate.
I'd probably put them on par in general. There's different reasons
for different things.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, all in all, impressive to end up making 3 films around this and make them decent. Like, I think so. I get one way to look at it, and again, it's not completely fair, but like, if you took away any one of the films and that was the only film that existed, if the third film was the first one, like, I think it would have done all right. I would think it would have been funny. Maybe not quite the cult classic that the first one is, or the same with the second one. The second one probably would have done just as good because it is a lot of the same movie.
That's true.
And then I think if any one of those was the first one, the performances would have been a little bit more. Like I said, there was risk involved in the first one that everyone's like giving it their all, and then it's like I feel like there wasn't quite the 100% given in the second and third one that they had in the first one. And I don't know if, again, is that because you're like, oh, just repeating what I did, and so then it's like, it's not as fun.
I'm sure they were ready to be done with it, and that's why it's smart they were like, yeah, we're not doing a fourth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's smart that they all decide not to do a fourth.
Yeah, but it's also, yeah,
Like, if you are going to do more than one movie, like trilogy, okay, but then like don't take it beyond that. Especially for something like this. Makes more sense if it's like a big IP, but even that not always is great.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
If you think about Indiana Jones, it's like anything after those three.
Yep.
I haven't seen all of the new one, but heard it's
It was all right.
not great. Like, oh, you did see it?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay. I'm sure it's better than the fourth one, but because that was a low point.
That's the one I've never seen.
That one's a low point. But I don't know. I remember seeing it in theaters way long ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, still cool that pretty much all the actors, cinematography, score, director, not even that much changing with the writing, even with the whole trilogy. It's impressive.
So then next is War Dogs. Next movie is War Dogs.
Know nothing about this.
Me neither.
Nice.
Is there going to be dogs and there's going to be war?
Maybe there could be neither one of those things.
But yeah, so what did you guys think? Have you seen all the trilogy of The Hangover? Which one do you think's better, the second or the third one? Obviously, the first one everyone agrees is the best one, but which one of the second and third one do you like better? Let us know. You can write us at feedback@screentimepod.com, or you can leave a comment on YouTube, or you can DM us on Instagram. And if you'd like, you can follow me. I'm at J Youngbar.
And I'm at Jared Youngbar.
All right. We'll catch you guys next time.